Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. John Kelly, profiler here, and welcome. Welcome to today's show, which is the Delphi murders. Who killed Libby and Abby? Part 52, the usual suspects. You'll see as you get closer to trial with these high-profile cases, all of a sudden you get what we call the usual suspects. These are people who come out of the woodwork that could be considered people of interest and even suspects. With that being said, I want to send our condolences out to the friends and family of Libby and Abby. Very sad, and will always be sad, no matter what part we're on, 52 or 102. It's a very sad case, and I really feel bad, and our deepest condolences to the families and friends. Bottom line, everybody's innocent until proven guilty in court of law, correct? So that's where we're at right now. Richard Allen is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And, trial's coming up. He asked for a fast trial, so he will get one. There's no question about it. 70 days. I think it's within 70 days. Also, I want to thank everybody for my book. Really appreciate everything, all the purchases, kind feedback we got. I mean, I can't thank you enough for all the kudos. Discovering Lazarus, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of John Kelly. How I kicked the horrible cocaine addiction, became a counselor, psychotherapist, and profiler. And here we go. Okay, we're going to take off a little bit today now. And also, we are going to be doing a live on addictions at some point. We have to get enough interest. I'm sure you can appreciate that before we do it. Right now, we do not have enough interest yet. Hopefully, more people will decide to let us know they're interested in seeing it. So we will do a live production on addictions. Okay, death's best friend is addiction, right? Take my word for it. You know, sometimes when we look at the people of interest and we look at the usual suspects, which is today's show, sometimes you can't clear people of interest, okay? I mean, you can't prove they're innocent and you can't prove they're guilty. It just happens. They just fall into this category that you can't clear them and you can't prove they had anything to do with the murder or murders. I mean, it just is that way. And in every high profile case I've worked, like I said, people seem to come out of the woodwork. And like I said, we call them usual suspects. They pop up every time there's a high profile case. It's unbelievable, you know. Going to Green River now, and a book Ann Rule wrote. At that time, Ann Rule was probably the best well-known true crime writer out there. Ann Rule, she was really well-known and had a major book with The Stranger Beside Me. That's when she worked with Ted Bundy on the hotline, the suicide prevention line. Yeah, she worked right next to Ted Bundy, right? She saw him actually save some people's lives, actually talk some people into not committing suicide. But her book was called Green River Turning Red. And I am honored to be in that book. It was a while ago. Thanks to Frank Adamson, Commander-in-Chief of Detectives on the Green River case in Kent County, Washington. Frank brought me into the case. I can't thank him enough. I learned a lot from Frank. I'm still learning from Frank. Frank's a partner of mine 20-some years later. He's a partner in Stock. He joined Stock with us. He's vice president. The point I'm trying to make is that during that case, I had to do a job. I had to do a job for Frank. He didn't know me from Adam, you know. he heard about me, but he didn't really know me. And here I land up in Kent, Washington, at the police station up there. And, now I'm going to be working for Frank Adamson. And what Frank did, Frank gave me 5 people. And he said 4 he felt should be eliminated, but 1 was the Green River Killer out of the 5. That's what he told me. At that time, we didn't know that Gary Ridgway was the Green River Killer, and DNA technology was not sophisticated enough yet, so we had to wait. In fact, we had probably waited at least 10 years or so since I was out there before DNA technology got to the point where they were able to pin Gary Ridgway down and arrest him for the Green River murders. One of the people out of the 5 that I had to eliminate, remember now, I had to eliminate 4 people. Okay, this is my second time out only, all right? So anyway, we were looking at a law student, and a lot of people thought this law student was pretty strange. They reported him to the police, to the detectives out there in King County, in Kent, King County in Kent. He was obsessed with prostitutes and serial killers. I mean, this guy was pretty strange. And I think later on he was even looked at, still might even be looked at for other murders in another state, but I'm not sure what state that is. I think it could have been even Hawaii. I'm not sure. But anyway, he was thought to be pretty strange. And certainly, I don't know if he was ever arrested or not. I don't think he was. And he's innocent until proven guilty as well, right? If he wasn't arrested and convicted. But anyway, this law student had a fake wall in his house. And he did this to create a secret room. Now, this guy had mannequins in the room. Now, I already said, he was obsessed with prostitutes and serial killers. So, that's somebody that they're looking for when you have all these sex workers being murdered and found in the woods around Washington, around Kent in Washington. And then, the second person was a cab driver. Now, the cab driver seemed like a pretty decent guy to me. I don't know, but I'm just started to look at him at the time. And he seemed to transport the sex workers around. He drove the sex workers around to their various dates. And I think he really liked them. I really do. And he was concerned when he heard about some of them being found dead or missing. And he legitimately tried to help. I truly believe that. And he tried to help by calling law enforcement, the Green River Task Force. And what he did is he started to give them information and let them know about his driving the girls around and knowing the girls and everything. Well, what good investigators do when they have something like that happen is they see a guy, for right reasons or wrong reasons, injecting himself into the investigation, injecting himself into the case, right? So now, they got to take a look at him. They have to take a look at him. And, he's pretty much a person of interest at this point in time. But also, they think he could possibly be doing the right thing and trying to help, find the girls, and he's showing his concern for the girls. So anyway, I eliminated him, and getting back to the student, I eliminated the student as well. All right, for various reasons. Now I'm left with a couple other people. I've got a contractor whose wife disappeared. Never to be found, even to this day. Never to be found. And, I don't know the exact connection with sex workers, but I was asked to take a look at this guy. And personally, he didn't fit the bill for me. I mean, this guy, had a lot of money. This guy was pretty set. Had a wife that disappeared, though. Red flag there. What happened to her? Why would she leave? I mean, he very well off guy, nice house and all. But he didn't look like he was habituating with sex workers. He didn't look like he was really involved with sex workers. And usually, I don't know by now if you guys have picked this up, but when you're looking for a serial killer that's focusing on and hunting sex workers, that's usually a guy that's habituating with sex workers. That's a guy that's always around sex workers, likes to be around them. He don't kill every time out, but he does kill, for whatever reason, certain sex workers. With Gary Ridgway, we're looking at 49 or 51 and still counting. I mean, this guy was a house on fire. The detectives up in Kent County, Washington, were getting bodies galore every week. Okay, this guy was really a man on fire. There's no question about it. But getting back to the contractor, I had to let him clear him out too, because he didn't do it for me. I didn't think he was the guy. What also happened then is I was introduced to a hunter. And I was asked to really look at this hunter. Now, this would be number 4 out of the 5 people that Frank Adamson asked me to look at. The hunter was very familiar with the area where the Green River victims were found. He's hunting there all the time. In fact, I think at a couple of crime scenes, he even showed up there. Well, forensic people were going over the crime scene, right? Now, this guy really liked to kill and behead animals. Okay. I mean, there's no question about it. He didn't only like killing, he really liked killing animals, right? And he was hunting all the time. So, we know there's not much of a leap between killing animals, and serials really do a lot of that, and torture animals. And then they move on to bigger animals, human beings, right? And then they start to hunt usually women, depending on what their victim of choice is. Could be a younger kid, younger boy or girl. But usually it's women. And in this case that we're dealing with women in the sex trade, all right? Now, this guy also, this hunter, also had a very bad, tumultuous relationship with his mother. It looked like he was even taken away from his mother when he was younger, because the mother was alcoholic. And that gave me a lot of concern. He also drove around with a mannequin sitting next to him or sitting in the back seat of the car. And I thought to myself, why would you do this? I mean, you're taunting police or what? I mean, there's no question about it. This guy was kind of an antisocial guy, if you know what I mean. I mean, there was some talk out there, allegations out there about him possibly being involved in arson as well. So we got a guy that's possibly involved in arson. We got a guy that's running around with mannequins. We got a guy that loves to kill animals, loves to taunt the police. I mean, this is the kind of guy that we might be looking for here, okay? Also, we understood that he had quite an open relationship with his girlfriend. It seemed to be pretty open. He didn't care really about other men being with his girlfriend. See, when I see that, I start to see like a lack of respect or anger or rage or whatever. But when you boil it down, it's a lack of total respect for a woman. Because if you would do this to your girlfriend and have this kind of disrespect for your girlfriend, what would you think of other women, right? I mean, I really, and of course, the tumultuous situation with his mother. So, this guy, has really caught my eye, and I really have an interest in him. I have a major interest in him. Now, that was number 4. Number 5 on the list is Gary Ridgway. Now, Gary, at the time, habituated with sex workers. I mean, he couldn't get enough sex. He couldn't be around sex workers enough. He was always driving and looking at them, and God knows the detectives followed him enough and they had an eye on him, a lot of the time. But at that point in time, he was looking and he wasn't touching. So what can you say? But you know what? He had an old record for choking out a sex worker. He didn't kill her, but he assaulted her. And she turned him in and he was arrested. Now, of course, he's arrested and, he got into a violent altercation with the sex worker. But how many men do have violent altercations with sex workers? And, sex workers are fighting men off all the time, right? I mean, this is an occupational hazard for sex workers, and it's a very, very scary, high risk business to be in for sure. All right. But I'm looking at Gary and I'm thinking to myself, what's his relationship like with his mother? I started digging into that. Now, at the time, we didn't know that he really had a lot of rage and anger towards his mother, but we didn't know that. I didn't know that. So anyway, we find out that the mother came down like a good mother and took care of her son, who was in jail, arrested for the altercation with the sex worker, for choking out a sex worker, and she bailed him out of jail. Now, that's what a good mother would do if she thought her son was innocent, right? So it looked to me like, most of these serial killers have major issues with their mothers, but this guy looks like he doesn't. Why would she come down and post bail for him and everything else? But little did I know underneath it, he did have rage against his mother, but it was kind of passive aggressive, wasn't blatant, you know what I mean? So the windup was, I turned around and I picked the hunter. Okay, out of the 5, I picked the hunter. I boiled it down to the last 2, which was Gary Ridgway and the hunter, but I ended up picking the hunter. And again, I have a real hard time with people that are so cruel to animals and like to kill animals like that. Plus all the other stuff he had going on with them, and the disconnect with his mom, which was something that's a major red flag for me when I'm looking, right? And so, I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, okay, so out of the 5 guys you gave me, and my job at this time as a profiler is to kind of, bring down the suspect pool. It's trying to, bring it down, eliminate people and shorten the suspect pool. So we know who to put a focus on, or who I think they should put a focus on. Like I said, it came down to Ridgway and it came down to the hunter. And that is in the book. It's all in Ann Rule's book, Green River Turning Red. But the bottom line is I was wrong. The hunter was not the killer, the psychopathic killer. Gary Ridgway was. He was also a necrophiliac as well. And Gary, instead of choosing the death penalty, he chose life in prison, and he decided that he was going to, give it up and, turn, all the victims in that he had killed. He was going to give their names and take law enforcement out with them and show them where he picked them up, where he killed them, where he dumped them, And supposedly he did all that. That was part of the deal. And, law enforcement handled it extremely well. And Gary's away now, doing life. Okay. What bothers me is, this was only my second time out, so I thought I did a good job. Frank Adamson thought I did a good job. No question about it. He gave me a nice letter. Even though I didn't pick Gary Ridgway, I did eliminate some other people that were in the mix. And that's what my job was, to reduce, the suspect count, reduce the suspects, and try to focus in on one or two or three that might be more tangible, right? The point I'm trying to make here is, as I was doing this, I was talking to my other partner, Dr. Mirsky, and Dr. Mirsky was ringing in my ear, after this took place. Always remember that future or present behavior, present or future behavior, can be predicted by past behavior. So past behavior is the most important dynamic when it comes to present or future behavior. Yeah, we did have, going back many, many years, Gary Ridgway choking out a sex worker. Past behavior, right? However, I decided to go with the hunter for my own reasons. And I learned from that many, many, many years ago. And finally, Ridgway, as you know, was arrested, and it's because of the DNA. And, the reason I'm bringing this up today is because with Richard Allen, we have the usual suspects coming to the forefront. Here they come. Here come the usual suspects. Okay. And you're going to hear a lot of, well, he said, she said, they said, I heard, we thought. The most important thing here is evidence. This is the most important thing, is evidence. Is there a possibility Richard Allen could not be guilty? Yeah, he's got to be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay? There's no question about it. He's innocent until proven guilty. Can he get off on a technicality? Absolutely. If he gets off on a technicality, does that mean he's not the killer? Absolutely not. He could still be the killer and get off on a technicality, right? That's the bottom line. When you have these usual suspects come up and they create doubt in the public, right? In the minds, because you've got two courts here. You got the court of public opinion and you got the legal court. All right. Now he's in the legal court right now, but the court of public opinion is going wild. He said, she said, who said, I heard, I thought, I think he saw, you're going to get a lot of this rumor control. It's really going on. I can see it in this case. And the best suggestion that I can give you folks is to wait and follow the evidence at the trial. Not the hearsay. Evidence. Follow the evidence. Focus down on the evidence. And then make up your mind, because it'll all come out in the trial. Focus on the evidence to see if you think Richard Allen is innocent or guilty. And again, people can get off on a technicality. Bottom line, I don't want to see a psychopathic sexual killing deviant get off on a technicality. But it could happen. Now, let me also tell you, I'm not saying Richard Allen is guilty or he is the psychopathic sexual deviant murderer here. Okay? I want to wait and look at the evidence. I want to see hard evidence here. I want to see hard evidence. Okay? And that's what we want to look for, not rumor control. Okay, thank you so much for a great day today and for letting us into your house. We truly appreciate it. Most importantly, take care of yourself and be safe out there. And until next time, God bless. See you soon. Thank you.